What up, family? It's your favorite thumb with eyebrows, Kool Rich. Come back to you and imagine getting fired for following your passion. Yeah, you get fired from your job for following your passion. Well, guess what? That happened to me. So let's go ahead and chop it up for a minute, and yeah, I'll tell you all about it. What's good, y'all? Appreciate y'all for tapping in today, and we do need to do the housekeeping. We always got to do the housekeeping. So I need you to make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the content, so that way we can continue building the Kool Rich family. Nevertheless, what is this called? What ladies call it? Call it spilling the tea or something like that. Like, when you about to expose some stuff. Yeah, man, I lost my job. Got fired from my job just for simply having a passion. It's something a little different. Now, if you know me or if you've been following my content, you know that I've been very passionate about fragrances for a long time, since I was a kid. Because, my father had got me ingratiated. He introduced me into the fragrance game. And then also my family members helped escalate that passion. So, from that, it's been a wonderful trip. It's been a wonderful experience to be able to understand the different type of notes, fragrance, blends, and the bouquets, and how certain ones work with this one, and how this note works in conjunction with this one. So it's been a wonderful experience, right? But everybody don't feel the same as you do about your passions. You got to take that into consideration. And my job didn't. My job definitely didn't. So now we're here. The incident. So I was growing my channel. Channel was starting to grow a little bit, and I had my Big Shot Ammunitions channel, and then also had my Kool Rich Fragrance channel. If you realize anything, around that time I was starting off hot. Like, I was getting pretty good numbers. On one end, I ended up having a few videos that had over 10,000 views. On another end, when it comes to fragrances, I had a few that had a couple of thousand views, and it was just steady growing from there, like 500, then getting 2,000, then getting up to almost 3,000 on the next video and stuff like that. So my job ended up catching wind of it pretty early. I don't know how, don't know why. I did not express to them that I was doing this stuff, but brought me in a meeting, and they wanted to let me know that per their policies when it comes to social media, they didn't want to have the company associated with certain things like that, like either firearms or things that deal with lifestyle situations. So fragrances will be considered lifestyle content. So they didn't want to be associated with that, in which I understood. But I mean, that's their own perspective, even though this was off company time. So that's the only thing I didn't understand from that point. Like, I get it that you are a representation of that company even when you're off the clock, but in that same aspect, there's also the freedom of you being able to do your own thing outside of those work hours. So I wasn't doing anything that was nefarious. I wasn't doing anything that was malicious or had any ill will towards it. It was just me more so showing my passions that, I'm a firearm instructor. So I should be able to express certain content that's related to firearms, safety and mitigating firearm ignorance and things like that. Same thing with fragrances. I love fragrances. So I want to be able to give people some, good advice. Let them know what's the proper ways to deal and spray on fragrances, and how to also utilize it in the best way. Like, I worked in an office, so you don't want to wear certain fragrances when you work in an office because you're going to smother and kill everybody. So it's things like that that I wanted to, be able to use my platform for. But they didn't agree with it. So I was like, all right, cool. If you notice, around that time, I pretty much stopped my Big Shot Ammunitions page, pretty much deleted it and then restarted another one, but just stopped altogether because when I did start it back up, I didn't get the same traction, and I just was like, dang, ain't even no point no more. And then on this side, I pretty much slowed down my content. Like, I stopped for about some months. So that really dealt a blow to my traction, because YouTube is about you making sure that your content is consistent. That's the main thing, is that you got to make sure that your content is consistent. So because of that, try to work a way or find a workaround and, everything like that. So I ended up going back to them a few months later, asking like, hey, what would be okay? Like, I know you don't want to have any association towards the firearm stuff. Cool. I don't really even do that content anymore. So I just got my fragrance channel. How does that work? Because it's not anything nefarious, not anything malicious, doesn't promote any type of gun use or anything like that. It's just fire, just fragrances. That's it. It's about smelling good and being your best self. We try to smell good and be our best self every day that we come in this office. But, and they were actually okay with that for the most part. Initially. That did not last long. So I want to say it was about a year or two ago in January, I got brought back in. And they asked me about, some of the content that I've been making, and, I don't get it. It was like, I wasn't doing anything wrong, so I wasn't doing anything crazy. I literally was just talking about fragrances. Like, this fragrance works better in this time period, this stuff. So I didn't get it. But they said that, they brought me back in and said that the content would need to cease or, whatever. But then from that, even from after that, it was like, I want to say it was like a back-to-back conversation. So that was a Monday, and then we had another conversation on Wednesday. So on a Monday, because I remember it was coming off the weekend, they said like, hey, we need you to stop doing the content stuff. We need you to stop. That's not something that the company wants to have tied to them, because that whatever the case may be. I'm like, how is this tying you all in any way, shape, or form? But then they bring me back in on Wednesday. Yeah. And that was the day that, they pretty much terminated the position.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
So they said that, based upon certain things, like my numbers were always great, always did well. Shoot, we even won an award based on the numbers that we were hitting. Like, I'm talking about with the companies that we work with. We won awards with them. We won awards at our own company and everything like that. But they said they wanted to part ways, just, due to the content aspect. And even though I pretty much ceased and stopped the stuff, it was at their own discretion that they wanted to, go forward. So that was pretty much the ending of that career. Well, with that company, at least. Now, if you know anything about content creation, especially when it comes to this stuff, that it's hit or miss. And it's just not as stable until you've already gotten that following. And it's been kind of crazy because, like, even though I do have other means of income, it's just like, bro, that consistent income is definitely something that you miss in a way, right? So losing that job definitely hurt, but it also made me have to double down on the content, man. I had to, like, shoot, at this point I gotta go all in. So you've seen more consistency over these last few weeks, last month and a half or so, and you've been seeing a lot more traction, a lot more videos pretty much since then. And that's what I want to keep up with, because I'm very, very, very passionate about fragrances, firearms too. But I'm extremely passionate about fragrances because this is going to be a point, and this is a thing that you always have to take into consideration. Like, my father is getting older, so at some point he may not be here. But one thing I'll always be able to have with him is that he introduced me to fragrances. So that's something I'll be able to pass down to my son, pass down to my son's son, and everything like that. Those are type of traditions, or at least points in your life that you can always pinpoint and be like, hey, this reminds me of this person. So this will always be something that's emblematic to me when it comes to like me having to think about my dad or even thinking about other family members. Just like when I grill and I think about my uncle. Like, you know what I'm saying? My uncle who taught me how to grill. Like, he's still alive and everything, so don't think that. But, you know, it makes me go into that perspective. Or when I'm cooking, it makes me also think about how he used to cook all the time as well and how he was a great cook. So, well, how he is a great cook because he don't cook as much, but he still cooks. But, you know, it's things like that, man. So, it just made me want to double down on my passion, double down on the things that I'm doing already. And, yeah, man, put more into it. So, I appreciate, and I think that this should also motivate the viewers to want to go for that passion, because I appreciate them for even pushing me to this point. Because let's say if I wouldn't have lost it, right, I might not still be trying to be as consistent. Because if you think about it, when you're working and then also trying to do content creation and then having to edit and do all of that stuff, that is a lot in a day. You already spend one third of that day doing your job. Then you also have to think about the time that you eat, the time that you gotta prepare for everything else, working out and all that other stuff, and then you also gotta sleep. So that's another 8 hours potentially, so 6 to 8 hours. So at least 2/3 of your day is already gone, and then you're trying to fit in the rest of that 1/3 that you have left into trying to do videos, edit the videos, content create. So, you know, this pretty much freed me of a lot of stuff, but it also hurt me when you don't have that consistent income. So there's roses and thorns to all this stuff. But I'm just hoping that at some point this stuff really gets to pay off and pushes me to a different level and different stratosphere where I could be like, look, man, that was probably the biggest blessing that I ever had. And that's why I want this to go to, is like, still follow your passions even when other people want you to follow their own passions, because that was the bank's passions. That was the corporate entity that I had worked for a passion. They wanted me to be straight about them and them only. And they weren't paying me enough to be about them and them only. Like, let's be real, man. I know y'all got jobs too, and they ain't paying you enough to just be about them and them only. For the majority. Not saying everybody, but the majority. So, man, I hope that y'all I hope this inspires you to follow your passion, but also know that the road is not easy. This is a hard travel road, man. This is very, very hard. So, while this is hard, it is very much an adventure. And it's an adventure that I appreciate. So, if you rock with your boy, if you rock with me, you rock with my story, you rock with the fact that no company should be able to tell you what you should and should not be able to, you know, create when it comes to content creation, then I'm gonna need you to make sure that you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit the share button, and let them know, like, hey, y'all thought that y'all was gonna win, but y'all ain't winning, man. We got more control over that. And I appreciate y'all for even just being a part of the YouTube family. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, if you had anything from this, one thing that you should take, follow your passion, man. Your passion is something that you will be able to do every day without it feeling like a job. Follow your passion. All right, so stay cool, stay rich, stay smelling good, man. I hope that y'all take it easy. It's your favorite thumb with eyebrows, Kool Rich, and I hope that y'all have a good one. Peace.